Welcome back. At the end of the previous part, we're at an impasse, basically. It's like, I'm very much in the stance of the defendant could be guilty. There's been fabricated evidence. We don't know what's going on here. So, we very much have to go with this. It's like this, there's still reasonable doubt as to whether or not Mr. McGilded could be guilty. So, he could be. Let's go. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me. Order. This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused's innocence into question? Are you of sound mind? Oh, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was a grand decision. Okay, what? I must say I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Yeah, well, have this for your troubles. There. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? It is just as the right honourable gentleman so succinctly put it afore. The trial cannot go on anymore. And your closing statement there was just... how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. I really don't know what to make of all of this. Was the evidence we seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinking rich are always guilty of something. You... mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park. Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby announce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zykes. My lord. The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait. When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zykes ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. That's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zykes, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fellow, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilded. Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. We're not going to find out what really happened, are we? I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty. This is very strange. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Why do we have fireworks? We shouldn't really set them off inside a building. It's not safe. It's quite strange, isn't it? Can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. We won. Yay. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. My first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for ours. That's quite strange. It's quite strange. '18th of February, 5:14 p.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. It certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. First ever trial on foreign soil and your first victory. It's a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Miss Susato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGilded. And the girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. But why would you set fireworks off inside? That's just no. Sure, you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. But it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And I have you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? Did I walk out there a free man then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. That is water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. Nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Aye. You've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deed? 'Tis grand, it is not. I suppose it is? Now the fine fellas of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. Why did it save them? I'll see it for what it is. We'll get to the truth. I have absolutely faith in them. So I have. After all, I do be providing a good number of their wages of all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella? Oh, no. Can't possibly accept that much. Ah, be whist. You're a humble people, are ye, from the east. Okay. Well, if you insist. May I? But have this. Still and all, you deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the Omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again? Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. Right. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, forgot she was here too. Alright, take your time. Don't move. Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry. NIA, all grown-ups. Ah! There you are. Hello. Looks like a gnome. Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha! Oh my. Definitely some connection then to Holmes. Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty colour, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. What's it what? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course, silly. To my technician. What? You mean... say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh, good. See, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. I'm fairly sure what she wants is not get shot by the massive gun of yours. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. Who are you? What connection do you have to Holmes? Oh, sorry for all the fuss. Is she the one that makes his stuff? Like what? She was a lively one. Well, you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right. But... where to? Oh. We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. While our travelling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings. At this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though. I have a cunning plan. As cunning as a fox. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Oh, you want to spend the night in a park? Please tell me you're not thinking of the Gilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. A bit chilly. It's February. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Yeah. Oh dear. It does sound agreeable. Doesn't sound agreeable. It does sound agreeable. Oh, I do like freezing like a popsicle, yes. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room. Or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. The case was far from over. Good, because I want to know what happened.
What's going on?
Get the fire brigade!
Water! Bring water, quick!
What? How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
Oh, this can't be.
Is McGilded inside? And oh my. Like, come on. Like, they're pressing it. It's like, come on. No, let's go. Oh. Into episode 4 then. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro? Yes. Looks like we're going back to Holmes looking at the stuff here. So that looks like Holmes is,
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
'9th of February, 9:47 a.m. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious. Felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gaslights twinkling, it was brighter than day even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? In my time on the SS Bury, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learnt that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I didn't try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. Oh, I really am sorry. Well, never mind. Let's find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. London is a scary place. Yes. Ah, good morning to you at this early hour. Oh, yes, well. Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Sito-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes, it was very eye-opening. Thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, I have already been apprised of the events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh. No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. Where's the doves come from? My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Thank you very much. So I'm a lawyer now? Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practice and practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I didn't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? Like, to understand what happened. And what happened with the fire? The culpability of the defendant has not, at this present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to prefer judgment. Well, Lord Van Zykes, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fellow, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Yes. Indeed. I'm sure he's been killed, though. I just can't help wondering. Mr. McGilded really was innocent. Mr. Naruhodo, it's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. Why do you keep winding your watch? And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? He's dead. Mr. Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. No! What? Mr. McGilded is dead? Oh, there's the birds again. I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk? Do I need to examine anything? Like, this must be the yeah, this is the same as before, isn't it? Yeah. Like that. Like, come on. It's like, I want to skip this because it's like I know we've been through this. I thought there might be something different made of bricks and stone here. Yeah, we know. Yeah, it feels overbearing. We know. Right, so probably not going to be anything new here. So let's converse. McGilded's death. I don't understand what happened. How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom? Yes, I was there. Yes, of course. And that was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? That is being investigated as we speak. But already, the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of Mr. McGilded. That's awful. Why do I keep adding Mr.? The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. The bailiff really needs to pay more attention. And how could that have happened? That is also being investigated as we speak. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Well, I must be making tracks now. Just time for the inspection? Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. An inspection of the Omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But then who was Mr. McGilded talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer of any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. Or Mr. McGilded. British court. So, how do you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow? Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old. Wow, Sister-san has such a way with words. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. Wait. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. I mean, I'll try. The most advanced in the world, is it? It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. That was simple? Simple, that was simple, yeah. As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. Yes, but I couldn't lose. Circumstances of the case were so incriminating I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to the exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much at least is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? What was he going to say before? New case. Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me it's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, see. Did you just read my mind? This is to say, no one has died. As yet. And the trial will not be today. There's plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. We get to investigate. Thank you. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. So the trial's tomorrow, then. Is everything alright? Oh, yes. Just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't know if I could face standing in the courtroom again after Mr. McGilded's trial. Ah, yes, I nearly forgot. There's one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there's currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh. The situation remains unchanged. The trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. If that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant. Yes, that's right. Oh, here we go again. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Yesterday, you remarked upon something. that you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I'd be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world works so he could change hours in Japan. And now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And, there's another thing, oh. Another thing? Continue. On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me. Something very important that I have to do. Something very important. And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done if he had made it to Great Britain. You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion. Mr. Naruhodo, what's this all about? Mr. Asogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. I urge you to both focus your attention on the matter at hand. I have taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. I'll be able to apprise you of the details. Looks like he's got some chips. How long has he been there? So, I wish you the best of luck, and bid you farewell. Fade out. There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean? I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, I'd better talk to the detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right. I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. And we'll end this part here. In the next part, we'll speak to what may be Greg Lestrade? Maybe? We shall see. In the next part. Ta-da for now.